Saskatoon is welcoming a new way to donate plasma, and at the heart of it is the Canadian Plasma Resources Centre. Joining me now is CEO Dr Bahardoust. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
So in the simplest terms, what is plasma?
Plasma is a component of blood, and it can be used for different purposes. In our case, we collect plasma only for further manufacturing into certain therapies. So we collect the source plasma from the donor and then purify and separate certain proteins that become medicine for certain conditions such as immune deficiencies, bleeding disorders, and many other rare diseases.
So how does the plasma system currently work?
So currently we have two national blood organizations, Canadian Blood Services and Quebec, which operates only in Quebec, and Canadian Blood Services for the rest of the country. And they collect whole blood. They collect some source plasma as well. They basically are responsible for delivering fresh blood products to the hospitals. But the need for fresh frozen plasma for transfusion is not very large. Canadian Blood Services is easily meeting that demand, and there is some excess, what is generally referred to as recovered plasma, that is also sent to fractionators when where they create these medicines. But the demand for these medicines are increasing year over year. And currently in Canada, we are meeting at best only about 20% of the need with the recovered plasma from Canadian Blood Services. The rest is purchased by Canadian Blood Services and Quebec from the commercial manufacturers, the international pharmaceutical companies, and distributed to the hospitals. Okay. So what we are proposing and what we are planning to do here is to do part of that manufacturing here at home in Canada, and over years hopefully increase the Canadian content in what is delivered to the hospitals.
So obviously there's a screening process. What is the screening process like for your company?
Screening process is basically regulated by Health Canada. So it's similar to a screening process for a regular blood donor. It involves checking the donor's health history and lifestyle, filling a questionnaire, then being interviewed by a nurse, physical examination, checking the vital signs for the donor to ensure that it's safe for the donor to donate, and then after the donation is made, testing the product to ensure that no transmissible disease is present and the units are not reactive. And then in our case, because the plasma is used for further manufacturing, the shelf life is much longer compared to fresh blood products. We quarantine the plasma, and then we ask the donor to return. Oh, and this process gets repeated a second time. After the second time donation is made and all the screening steps are passed, then the donor is deemed qualified, and after the qualification we use the product. If the donor doesn't return, then the product needs to be rejected.
So now there's some hesitation around this business from an ethical standpoint. Should we be selling bodily tissue? And when money is involved, is there more of a chance of oversight or contamination because it becomes a manufactured substance? What do you have to say about those two arguments?
There are two separate arguments, obviously. So regarding the safety of these products, again, this is different from a product that is transfused directly into the patient. After the plasma is collected, it goes through validated viral filtration and inactivation steps, where this makes the safety record of these products much better than regular fresh blood products. In fact, there has been no case of transmission of HIV, hepatitis B or C through plasma protein products in over 20 years. And Health Canada and the US FDA agree that, and CBS shares this position, that the safety of the product is not affected by compensation of donors, and that's why Health Canada allows compensation for donors. Regarding the ethics issue, first of all, again, we only collect plasma, so we don't collect any cells from the donor. All cells are returned to the donor. Part of the Health Canada licensing is ensuring that the donor safety is not jeopardized, so there is no harm to the donor. The donors are all volunteer, and they also have the option to self-exclude at any time during the process. And at the end of the day, the plasma that we collect is going to help a patient.
Okay.
And that, I think, is more important.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and shedding a little bit more light on this new business opening here in Saskatoon. And the grand opening is today. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.